right now, there is a silent battle happening in your front yard.
Yeah, there really is.
Every time it rains or, every time the temperature drops below freezing, the ground beneath your feet is actively shifting. It's swelling and trying its absolute hardest to destroy the path to your front door.
Oh, yeah. It's
And
relentless.
you walk out that door every single morning, you head to your car, you walk back at night. I mean, you do it thousands of times. But unless there's like a massive crack to trip over, you probably never look down to consider the literal physical foundation that's guiding your steps.
Right. It is the ultimate blind spot in homeownership. We just assume the ground will be there, permanently flat, dutifully doing its job. We walk right over this incredible feat of engineering without a second thought.
Which is exactly why we're focusing on that for today's deep dive. We are looking closely at the pathways leading up to our front doors.
Sounds good.
And our single source for this exploration is this really highly detailed article titled Transform Your Outdoor Space. It's from 479 Concrete Fort Smith, published on March 27, 2026. And the mission for this deep dive is to uncover the surprising blend of, well, hardcore material science and high-end artistry that's actually required to build a custom walkway.
One that actually survives that silent battle in your yard, right? Because as the source material makes abundantly clear, laying down a durable walkway is light years beyond just, pouring some gray sludge into a wooden mold.
Yeah.
You are looking at a profound level of environmental mitigation and structural chemistry.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I want you to think about your own home. When a guest comes over for the very first time, what is the first physical interaction they have with your property?
It's the walk up to the house?
Exactly. It isn't turning the doorknob. I like to think of a walkway as the handshake of your property. It dictates the very first impression your home makes. And if that handshake is weak-like, if the path is uneven, structurally compromised, or just a boring stained slab, it actively detracts from the architectural beauty of everything else around it.
A custom poured pathway does the exact opposite. It acts as a visual and structural anchor. It deliberately draws the eye and frames your landscaping features rather than fighting against them. It creates this intentional, deliberate approach to the structure.
Right, and I know a lot of people, myself included, honestly, usually think of hardscaping purely in terms of that curb appeal. We just think of it as outdoor decorating.
But what's fascinating here is the pivot from aesthetics to pure utility.
Oh, yeah.
The industry term for these poured surfaces is flatwork, and functional flatwork actually solves distinct, measurable property challenges. We are talking about critical defense systems for the house.
And the source gets really highly specific about that defense. Like, a properly graded pathway is actually your first line of defense against soil erosion.
Absolutely.
It strategically controls foot traffic, so visitors aren't, compacting the soil in your lawn or trampling your delicate garden beds.
Right, and crucially, it provides a safe, slip-resistant surface. The article points out the heavy seasonal rains that are incredibly common throughout the River Valley area.
Oh, yeah, those get intense.
They really do. A slick, untextured path in a torrential downpour isn't just an eyesore, it is a massive liability.
For sure. And that functional utility translates directly into tangible financial value, right?
It does. When buyers and property appraisers are evaluating a home, exterior flatwork is actually one of the first things they scrutinize. It serves as a massive indicator of overall property health.
Because what if the outside looks pristine, they just assume the inside is too?
Well, it goes deeper than just looking pristine. Precision-engineered pathways signal rigorous, comprehensive home maintenance.
Okay, I see.
If an appraiser sees that a homeowner has invested the capital and the effort into perfectly graded, structurally sound exterior flatwork, they reasonably deduce that the same rigorous attention to detail has been applied to the home's invisible systems.
Like the roof underlayment or the plumbing?
Exactly. The roof, the plumbing, the foundation. It elevates both the structural curb appeal and the literal equity of the property.
I can completely see how an appraiser would make that psychological leap.
But okay, reading through the source's claims about value, I have to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
I know DIY concrete work is notoriously tough, but what exactly makes it fail so often? I mean, isn't pouring a walkway essentially just going to a hardware store, buying bags of powder, adding water, and smoothing it out?
You would think so, yeah.
Right. How complex can it truly be to just make a flat rock?
The scale of difficulty is completely hidden until you try it, which is why so many amateur DIRs end up with a cracked, ruined sidewalk after, 1 year. The biggest adversary you face isn't mixing the concrete, it is the local climate. And the climate in Fort Smith, Arkansas, which is what the source uses as its baseline, is particularly brutal on hardscaping.
Oh, it is an absolute nightmare for structural materials. The area experiences wildly fluctuating temperatures and extreme humidity swings. So let's look at the winter freeze-thaw cycles.
Okay.
When you mix concrete poorly, it is highly porous. Moisture seeps into those tiny microscopic imperfections.
Right.
When the temperature drops below freezing, that trapped water turns to ice and actually expands by about 9%.
Wait, really? 9%.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot, but I imagine it's like putting a glass bottle full of water into the freezer.
That is the perfect analogy. The expanding ice exerts tens of thousands of pounds of pressure per square inch from the inside out.
Oh, wow.
It physically forces the concrete apart, creating these microfractures. Then the ice melts during the day, the water seeps even deeper into the new crack, and it freezes again the next night.
And then, just to add insult to injury, the brutal Arkansas summer hits.
Exactly. Now you have intense summer heat causing rapid thermal expansion. The slab just bakes in the sun, expanding and pushing against its borders.
So it's getting squeezed and stretched constantly.
This relentless cycle of expanding in the heat and fracturing in the cold is what causes amateur pours to crack, shift, and degrade prematurely.
Man. So to survive that, professionals have to manage variables the average homeowner wouldn't even know exist.
Oh, absolutely.
The source talks about calculating exact water-to-cement ratios. Like, if you add too much water just to make it easier to pour, you physically dilute the chemical bonds, making it weak and porous.
Which brings us right back to the freeze-thaw problem.
Exactly. And then there are control joints. That was a huge light bulb moment for me.
Oh.
Yeah, because those deep lines stamp into a sidewalk, I thought they were just there for visual spacing.
A lot of people do. But they are strategically engineered, pre-planned weaknesses.
Pre-planned weaknesses. That's so counterintuitive.
Right. But concrete is going to shrink and is going to crack as it cures. You can't stop physics. But by cutting a control joint into the surface, the contractor is dictating exactly where that crack will happen. The slab fractures down out of sight, hidden at the bottom of that groove, which keeps the visible surface totally pristine.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because all of that chemistry, the water ratios, the joints, that all happens above ground. But the real mechanism that decides whether a pathway survives the elements is what happens before a single drop of concrete is even mixed.
The subgrade preparation.
Yes. I always pictured a contractor just like digging a shallow trench in the grass and pouring the mix directly into the dirt.
That is a recipe for disaster.
Right, because the source explains that subgrade prep is a massive, complex science. The native soil beneath the pathway has to be excavated to a specific depth and then mechanically compacted.
Yeah, if you pour heavy concrete on loose topsoil, the earth will naturally settle underneath it, creating an air void.
And without the ground supporting it, the weight of the concrete will just snap itself in half a year later.
Exactly. And native dirt holds water, which brings us right back to our freeze-thaw problem again.
It's all connected.
It is. So specialists dig out that unstable dirt and lay down what is called an aggregate base. This is a thick layer of crushed stone and gravel.
Okay, so a rock foundation.
Right. And because the stones are jagged, they lock together when they're compacted, creating a base that won't shift. But it also allows ground moisture to drain away from the slab instead of pooling right under it.
And the most critical part of that subgrade preparation, according to the source, is the grading. They have to establish a precise mathematical slope for the aggregate base.
Yep, the pitch is crucial.
Because the goal is to direct all rainwater and surface runoff safely away from the home's foundation. So your front walkway is literally acting as a water shield for your entire house.
It really is. By managing the soil compaction, the crushed aggregate base, and the exact angle of the slope, contractors ensure the structure isn't just a walking path. It is a protective asset designed to endure for decades.
That is incredible.
And once you have that incredibly robust, highly engineered foundation locked in place, it offers you a completely blank canvas. This is where the heavy engineering seamlessly bridges into high-end design.
Oh, yeah. It is the absolute end of the boring, gray city sidewalk.
Definitely.
Because homeowners are constantly debating what materials to use for their paths, right? They price out loose gravel, segmented pavers, imported natural stone.
And each of those has severe drawbacks. I mean, loose gravel washes away into the yard during heavy rain. Segmented pavers look nice initially, but because they are individual blocks, the ground shifting causes them to become uneven, which creates tripping hazards.
Plus, you constantly have weeds growing between the joints.
Right. And natural stone is gorgeous, but it is astronomically expensive to source and can be surprisingly brittle.
Well, the source makes a highly compelling, technically backed case that custom-poured concrete mixtures actually offer the absolute best combination of longevity, adaptability, and minimal upkeep.
Because poured concrete is a monolithic structure. It's one solid, unified piece of stone.
Right. And today, it doesn't even have to look like concrete at all. The artistry is mind-blowing. I think of modern concrete as like an architectural chameleon. It has the raw, unstoppable durability of a bunker, but it can camouflage itself as almost any organic material.
The advanced finishing techniques available now have entirely revolutionized exterior design.
Oh, for sure.
We are talking about highly detailed stamped and colored concrete. Contractors use these heavy, deeply textured polyurethane mats to press patterns into the concrete while it is still in its moldable wet phase.
What the industry calls the plastic state, right?
Exactly, the plastic state.
Yeah.
And they can successfully replicate the high-end, textured look of slate, of European cobblestone, or even classic brick.
The source even mentions they can make it look like weathered wood planks.
Yeah, that's a really popular one.
Like you can get the rustic, warm aesthetic of a wooden boardwalk leading up to your front door, but it will never rot, it'll never give you splinters, and you will never have to restain it.
Yeah.
You get all of these luxury looks at a tiny fraction of the cost of sourcing actual cobblestone or premium timber.
And with significantly fewer maintenance headaches. But, the physical texture is only half the illusion. The color customization is what truly integrates the path into the property.
Right. The source highlights the use of both integral colors and topical surface stains. And I was hoping we could actually clarify the difference there, because it sounds to me like they're just painting the concrete.
Oh, it is far more sophisticated than paint. So an integral color is a powdered pigment that is actually dumped into the cement mixer truck before the pour.
Oh, so mixes in.
Right. It dyes the entire batch. If you chip the concrete 10 years from now, it will still be that exact same color all the way through to the core. It establishes the base tone.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then, topical stains are applied by hand to the surface. These react chemically with the concrete to create modeling, shading, and really organic color variations.
Which prevents it from looking like a flat, artificial cartoon surface. It gives the stone realistic shadows and highlights.
Exactly. And because of this layered coloring process, contractors can blend these tones to perfectly match your home's exterior trim palette or coordinate it with an existing masonry facade.
So it blends right in.
Yeah, it allows the hardscaping to adapt to literally any architectural style. Like if you have a classic Southern traditional home, you can pour a path that mimics centuries-old, slightly faded brick.
Nice.
Or if you have a sleek, modern exterior, you can pour large, smooth, slate-textured geometric squares with crisp lines.
It effectively bridges the gap between the built environment of your house and the organic, natural landscape of your yard.
Absolutely.
So how does a homeowner actually get from this grand design idea to the physical execution of the project?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, executing a structural hardscaping upgrade requires a really systematic journey.
Right.
The leadership at 479 Concrete Patio and Driveway, Fort Smith, outlines a highly structured blueprint to guarantee this level of durability. They break it down into 5 phases.
And it starts way before the pour. Right.
Exactly. It all starts long before a mixer truck arrives, with a rigorous site evaluation. Professionals assess the terrain's natural grading, they test the local soil composition to see how much it shifts, and they map out the existing property drainage routes.
So they are hunting for potential failure points before they even draw a blueprint.
Yes, precisely. And once they know the environment, they move to the design phase. This is finalizing the exact dimensions, mapping the routing of the path around your landscaping, and selecting the specific texture mats and integral colors.
Okay. And then phase 3 is when things get messy.
That's the excavation. Only then does the heavy machinery come out. They remove the old material, deal with any intrusive tree roots that could heave the path later, and they compact that crucial new, stable aggregate base layer we talked about earlier.
Okay, so that hidden foundation is locked in. Phase 4 is the main event.
The pouring and finishing. Placing the custom mix, applying the heavy texture stamps while the surface is still moldable, and cutting those necessary relief joints to dictate future shrinkage.
And the final step is curing and sealing,
Right.
protecting the new surface and locking out moisture with a commercial-grade top coat.
You've got it.
But there is a detail in the FAQ section of the source about this curing process that absolutely shocked me.
The 28-day timeline.
Yes, we have all seen a new sidewalk poured, right? And a day later, people are walking their dogs on it. And the source confirms you can lightly walk on a new pour, what they call light residential foot traffic, within 24 to 48 hours.
Right.
But the concrete does not reach its full compressive strength for a full 28 days.
This is perhaps the most misunderstood concept in material science. Concrete does not dry like a puddle of water evaporate.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it cures through a highly active, heat-producing chemical reaction called hydration. The water molecules are actually fusing with the cement particles to grow microscopic interlocking crystals.
Wow. It's like a microscopic game of Tetris locking the powder into solid stone.
A very, very slow game of Tetris. That chemical fire takes nearly a month to fully lock every crystal into place. That is how it builds compressive strength. Its ability to hold incredibly heavy weight without crushing.
But wait, if it takes 28 days to fully cure, why do I see people driving their cars on newly poured concrete driveways after just a week?
Because a car distributes its weight across 4 wide tires. But the source specifically warns homeowners to keep things with concentrated, heavy points like large ceramic planters, heavy equipment, or machinery completely off the new surface for at least a few weeks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if you drag a massive dirt-filled pot to the edge of your new walkway on day 4, you risk causing permanent structural indentations or snapping the unsupported edge entirely.
Because it hasn't finished its Tetris game yet.
Exactly. It needs that full 28-day secret window to become the unstoppable rock it is engineered to be.
It is a period of invisible vulnerability. But what if someone listening right now already has a plain, boring, gray, concrete pathway leading to their house? Are they just out of luck, unless they want to rent a jackhammer and rip up their entire yard?
Not at all.
Good, because I was thrilled to see the source offers a workaround for this. Let's call it the overlay hack.
It is a brilliant, highly efficient solution, provided the existing conditions are right.
Okay.
Traditional stamping requires a fresh, deep, wet pour to accept the heavy pressure of the texture mats.
Right. But if your existing plain pathway is in excellent structural condition, meaning no major deep cracks, no sinking sections, professionals can use a stamped overlay.
Correct. It's described as a highly modified cementitious layer. Basically a super strong, thin layer of concrete, heavily blended with polymer, so it acts almost like a structural glue.
Oh, wow. So they apply this thin layer directly over the old slab and then stamp and color that new material.
Yes, you get the completely custom, high-end look without the nightmare of a full demolition.
That is such a great hack. And whether you go with an overlay or completely new pour from the subgrade up, the long-term reality is incredibly appealing when it comes to maintenance.
Oh, it's a game changer.
It is remarkably low effort compared to the alternatives. Like segmented pavers require constant resanding, aggressive weed pulling, and pulling up blocks to re-level the dirt underneath.
It's exhausting.
But for a poured custom pathway, routine care is essentially just sweeping away organic debris like wet leaves that might leach tannins and stain the surface, and giving it an occasional low-pressure wash to remove surface dirt.
Now, you want to be careful there. You never want to use a power washer on full blast.
Oh, really? Why not?
It isn't necessary, and the extreme water pressure can physically strip the protective sealant right off the stone.
Good to know.
And that sealant is the one true maintenance requirement. To continuously protect the topical stains from fading under harsh UV rays, and to block moisture from penetrating the pores during those brutal Arkansas freeze-thaw cycles we mentioned, professionals recommend applying a high-quality, UV-resistant concrete sealer every 2 to 3 years.
Roll on a clear coat every few years,
Yeah.
and you have a perfect high-end stone pathway that will literally outlast your mortgage.
Easily.
It is genuinely amazing when you pull all these intricate pieces together. We started this deep dive looking at a walkway. It's just a hard surface to keep our shoes out of the mud.
Right.
But a custom poured walkway is a highly engineered, mathematically graded, creatively stamped structure. It acts as an active shield to protect a home's foundation. It is chemically customized to resist brutal weather cycles, and it instantly elevates the structural equity of the entire property.
This raises an important question, though. Yeah, we've spent this entire time dissecting the physical, chemical, and material reality of these hardscaped paths. But if the physical pathways we pour are so incredibly carefully engineered to guide our physical footsteps, how much do these silent, structured paths subtly dictate our psychology,
I know.
right? How does walking up a beautiful, deliberate, sweeping walkway change our daily mood as we leave for work? How does a welcoming path alter our spontaneous interactions with the neighbors who walk past it?
I never even thought of that.
And perhaps most importantly, how does that physical journey shape the way we psychologically transition from the chaos of the outside world into the ultimate sanctuary of our homes?
Wow. That completely changes the way you look at a simple stroll up the driveway. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. The next time you walk up to your front door, take just a second to look a little closer at the ground beneath your feet. It might just be the most important handshake of your day.